Have you ever wondered why some people just walk into a room and instantly command respect? Like, they show up, and suddenly everyone's paying attention without even trying. They start talking, and barely anyone dares to interrupt. No aggression, no raised voice. But somehow the whole room just orbits around them. Meanwhile, you might be the nicest person on the planet, but people still brush you off. At work, they cut you off mid-sentence. Hanging out with friends, they take the jokes way too far. Some people even use a tone with you they'd never dare use with anyone else. So what's the difference here? Well, guess what? It's not about looks, and it's definitely not about status or money. There's a killer psychological secret that 99% of people out there never figure out. But the top 1% play this game like absolute pros. And trust me, once you get the hang of it, how people treat you is going to flip faster than you'd think. I'm Dex. Today I'm sharing 6 secret tricks the top 1% use to make pretty much anyone respect you almost instantly. Let's break it down. To flip the script, your first move starts with managing how you show up. Trick 1. Own the first 5 seconds. In behavioral psychology, there's a really cool concept called thin slicing. Science has proven this. Our brains are wired by evolution to size up and judge other people at lightning speed in just the first 5 seconds of meeting them. In those quick 5 seconds, the other person hasn't even had a chance to hear you talk about your degrees or your great personality yet. Their subconscious mind is busy scanning you to answer one question. Wait, where does this person rank in the social pecking order? You've probably fallen head over heels for someone or suddenly felt respect for them the moment you laid eyes on them, even before they said a word, right? Listen, if you walk around looking sloppy, you're quietly screaming, "Hey, I don't even respect myself." And what's the golden rule of personal worth? Nobody will respect you more than you respect yourself. The dumbest mistake most people make is dressing just to blend in and stay safe. Deep down, why? They're scared of being judged. That fear pushes them into clothes so plain and safe they barely register. They shrink themselves the moment they open the closet. So what's the fix? Easy. And it's completely in your hands. First, dress just a little better than the situation calls for. This trick gets you noticed in a really cool way. Just look at Ryan Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love and you'll get it right away. Second, you don't need to blow all your money on expensive designer stuff. Instead, look for pieces that fit you perfectly, flatter your shape, and actually suit your body. When how you look sends a clear, consistent message, it turns into psychological armor. It screams discipline. People look at you and think, this person's got taste, and they naturally get more careful about how they treat you. Once you've won people over in that first glance, your next weapon is how you take up space. Trick 2. Take up space. Think about the animal world for a second. When an animal is scared, what's its first survival instinct? Curl up, pull its arms and legs in tight, try to turn into an invisible speck so no predator notices it. Now, on the flip side, what does the animal in charge, the real alpha, do? It stands tall, head held high, spreads out, and takes over all the space around it. Guess what? Our human brains, shaped by evolution, work exactly the same way. When you walk into a room with your shoulders hunched, your posture closed off, sitting with your legs crossed so tight you look like you're about to topple over, and your arms glued to your sides, you might think that's being humble. It's not. The subconscious minds of the people around you will read you instantly. You're sending out a giant SOS signal to the whole world. Help, I don't feel safe. Please don't look at me. Just ignore me. And boom, what happens? People will unconsciously ignore you, treat you as invisible, or as someone easy to push around in the group's unspoken pecking order. But wait, taking up space absolutely does not mean sprawling out with your legs wide open like some rude guy hogging the space next to him. Come on, that's not confidence. That's a disaster of bad manners and zero social awareness. Look at how a master like Tony Robbins owns a huge stage. His solid steps, his wide open arms, his expansive presence pull the attention of thousands of people below into one powerful force field. See, taking up space was never about being aggressive or trying to scare anyone. It's a state of calm steadiness. It's that deep feeling of being completely comfortable in your own skin. So what's the real practical lesson here? Next time you walk into a room, take just 1 second to do this. Roll your shoulders back, drop them down, and open up your chest. When you sit down at a meeting table or dinner table, use the whole seat, rest your arms comfortably on the armrests, and keep a straight line between your hips and your ribs. And if someone, on purpose or not, moves in close to crowd you or pressure you, do not back down. Stand there solid, like a mountain. Behavioral science has proven this. An open body posture doesn't just change how other people see your power, it actually hacks straight into your brain chemistry. Just a few minutes of standing in an open posture, and your brain automatically boosts testosterone and lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It sends your nervous system some great news. We're safe here, buddy, which helps you keep a cool head under any kind of pressure. When you dare to claim your own physical space with confidence, you're planting your flag and declaring ownership. You're telling the world, without saying a single word, through body language alone, I have every right to be here, I have the right to be seen, and I have the right to be fully heard. Once the space is completely yours, the next trick is the most subtle weapon for shaping how things go. Trick 3. The subtle touch. But fair warning first. Touch is not some manipulation trick or a way to prove you're above someone. A touch only has value when it's safe, fits the situation, and most importantly, the other person genuinely feels comfortable with it. Let's zoom out for a second. Top-level communication isn't just about firing off a bunch of words at each other. People react strongly to distance, eye contact, and tiny body language signals. A firm handshake, a solid pat on the shoulder when celebrating something, or a light touch on the arm to calm down a coworker who's freaking out. Done right, these small moves create huge trust and connection. Master communicators never just touch people randomly. They read the situation extremely well. They check whether the other person feels comfortable and how close they already are. And if a touch does happen, it has to be very brief, natural, and end right away. That's the line between being tactful and being rude. Careless people love to touch too long or stand too close just to force a reaction out of someone. People who actually have real standing want nothing to do with that. They don't need to invade anyone's space to prove they're strong. They're calm enough to keep their distance and sharp enough to land a touch at exactly the right moment. Okay, memorize these 3 golden rules right now. Rule 1. Natural context only. Only use touch in completely natural situations like shaking hands to greet someone or congratulating them on a win. Don't try to force it or fake some mechanical gesture. People can smell fake from a mile away. Rule 2. Safe zones only. Only aim for the safest, most neutral parts of the body. The hand, the forearm, the shoulder area, or the upper back. Wisely stay far away from any sensitive or private areas, or any kind of overly close hug that might startle someone and make them feel their personal space got invaded. Rule 3. Read the room. Your eyes need to be sharp. If right after you touch someone they flinch back without thinking, their body goes stiff and awkward, or their eyes start avoiding yours, that's a big flashing red light telling you they're really not comfortable. When you get that signal, someone with real confidence never pushes past that line. They pull their hand back right away and step back with the most graceful manners possible. Respect doesn't come from forcing people to put up with you. It comes from making them feel completely safe around you. A touch at the right moment sends a powerful message. I'm here, I'm steady, I care about you, and I fully respect your boundaries. When you pull that off, your mature, grounded presence shines through automatically. Your body language and boundaries are locked in now, but the real game starts the moment you open your mouth, especially that painful moment when someone deliberately cuts your sentence off. Trick 4. Fully protect your words. Ever since we were kids, we got taught over and over to be well-behaved, to be polite. The result is, the moment someone jumps into their sentence, 90% of people's automatic reaction is to shut up and hand the stage straight over to whoever interrupted. Don't be naive about this. Look deeper. In group psychology, interrupting is rarely as accidental as it looks. It's actually a hidden status test. When you let someone else steamroll over what you're saying, you're waving a white flag. You're quietly admitting, yeah, your opinion matters more, your time is worth more than mine. This happens constantly in meetings. Whoever goes quiet first is the one who loses control. Keep letting it slide and your voice loses all its weight. People will just assume they have the right to talk over you whenever they feel like it. Want to flip the script right away? You have to learn how to finish your sentence. No, I'm not telling you to start yelling or get all defensive and slam the table. This solution is way more subtle and way more effective. Someone's about to jump in while you're talking? Ignore them. Keep the same volume and the same pace. Don't speed up like you're in a race, and definitely don't let your voice trail off. Just keep flowing smoothly, like the interruption never even happened. At the same time, raise your hands slightly, or just one finger, like saying, hold on a second, and keep your eyes locked on theirs. Turn your own steadiness into a solid wall for them to run straight into. Usually, once they see you're not backing down, the rude person will feel awkward and back off on their own. Once you've finished your point, you can turn to them and smile politely. So, what were you about to say? See that? You protected your boundary and came across as a calm leader in full control of the situation, without any hostility at all. Now that you've got protecting yourself down, it's time for the highest level skill: how you handle people who are trying to threaten your position. Trick 5. Give your competition credit. There's an extremely common and extremely toxic mindset out there called scarcity mindset. People stuck in this mindset are always anxious. They think the world is one tiny pie, and if someone else gets a bigger slice, they go hungry. So they get defensive, throw shade, and talk trash behind people's backs just to make themselves feel better. Psychology just laughs at this. When you get bitter towards someone better than you, does that actually bring them down? No. You're just accidentally exposing your own insecurity and making yourself look worse. At the end of the day, nobody wants to trust or respect someone who's constantly picking apart other people. Truly confident people flip this completely. They've mastered what's called the confidence paradox. Genuinely praising a strong competitor is actually the ultimate flex of real inner strength. Your coworker just landed an amazing deal. Instead of scowling and hunting for flaws, clap them on the shoulder and say, "That move you pulled off was seriously impressive." In the middle of a debate and the other person makes a killer point, don't argue just to argue. Nod and say, "That's a sharp point. I hadn't thought of that." Look at legends like Kobe Bryant or Tom Brady. On the field or court, the competition was brutal, like they wanted to devour each other. But they never held back praise for their fiercest rivals. Does giving your opponent credit dim your own legacy? Not at all. It actually shows off the steady confidence of a true champion. Admitting the truth doesn't make you weaker. It proves you're fair, and more importantly, it proves you have enough self-respect that someone else's excellence doesn't threaten you. When you show you're willing to learn from others, people start seeing you differently, as someone who raises the level of the whole game instead of someone who drags everyone down. Okay, we've covered how you look, how you use space, your boundaries, how you handle people. But the highest and toughest level of respect comes from a place nobody expects. Trick 6. Own your flaws. Society is kind of funny. It's always pushing us to wear a mask, feeding us that whole fake it till you make it line, telling us to hide our weaknesses so people don't tear us apart. But here's the painful truth. People's radar for fakeness is incredibly sharp. The harder you work to hide something, the more that awkwardness leaks out through every pore, and people around you immediately sense something's off and pull away. Here's something even more interesting. Behavioral science has what's called the pratfall effect. People who seem flawless and perfect often make others feel jealous and distant. But someone who's clearly skilled, who occasionally trips up in a harmless way, or is willing to openly point out their own flaw, suddenly they come across as way more real, way more approachable, and way more respected. The last secret here is self-awareness. Be secure enough to calmly admit a weakness when it matters, instead of breaking into a cold sweat trying to hide it. Now, don't confuse this with putting yourself down or playing the crying victim. Admitting it here means saying it like it's just an obvious fact, with a totally calm face. You feel no shame about it because you understand it's just part of growing. Look at how Brad Pitt acts when he's up on stage accepting an award, bringing up his divorce or his own flaws, and joking about them with a light tone. Does being that upfront make him look any less cool? Not at all. The whole room ends up standing and applauding that kind of unmatched confidence. Here's an example. You have a terrible memory for small details? Instead of pretending you'll remember and then messing it up, just say with a smile, "I'm a big picture kind of person, so small details tend to slip through the cracks. Feel free to remind me." When you name your own weakness in a calm, matter-of-fact tone, looking people straight in the eye, you completely strip away that weakness's power to hurt you. Nobody can use a flaw to mock someone who has already fully owned their own imperfection. That right there is the highest level of personal ownership. You are whole, 100% real, and impossible to manipulate. Looking back at the whole picture, from owning the first 5 seconds to taking up physical space, to mastering the subtle touch, to fully protecting your words, to giving credit to your competition, all the way to owning your flaws. Together, it paints one complete picture. Respect was never something you beg for or demand out of desperation. Life is short, and you don't have time to keep running around explaining yourself, trying to please the whole world just to get one respectful glance from someone. That's a waste of time. Remember this, real respect is like a reward that automatically lands on you, generous and solid, after a whole chain of self-control, self-awareness, and iron discipline on your part. Think about it. From the moment you learn to level up how you look, to standing tall and claiming your own space, to communicating sharply, to confidently protecting every inch of your verbal boundaries, to happily giving your competitors credit instead of feeling petty and jealous, all the way to smiling and openly admitting your own silly flaws, you are rewriting the entire code running underneath who you are. At that point, you're the one holding all the cards, setting your own high value. So please stop sitting around complaining that the world is unfair or that people out there are cold and ungrateful. Nobody can save you except yourself. Roll up your sleeves, take these practical psychology principles, and apply them consistently to even the smallest actions in your everyday life. Shape yourself into the version of you that someday, standing in front of a mirror, you'll look at and say, wow, I actually respect this person. And I'll bet you this, once you're standing at that peak of self-mastery, the world outside will automatically fall in line, hold its breath, and completely change how it treats you. Oh, and before we wrap up this video, I'm genuinely curious. Out of these 6 tricks, which one hit closest to home as your biggest blind spot? Or do you have an even better trick? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. If this video really hit home for you, don't hold back on that like button, hit subscribe, and share it with a close friend who's been getting pushed around or overlooked out there. You just might be saving their life. I'm Dex. Thanks so much for sticking with me all the way to the end. Keep it strong, and I'll see you in the next video.